Start recording. Guys, ready?
Yes, sir.
This is a server. Okay. Alt control insert. Okay. So this is a address list. Okay, address list. What it will indicates, like you just refresh. What it is indicates. So this is an client IP address. This is the client name, and this is the lease expiration. Okay, every client once you got an IP address from the server, automatically. Okay, so whenever you got an IP address from the server, see, it contains a lease obtained when you got an IP address. First time you got an IP address. Okay, after boot up the system, when you got an IP address, alright, when you got this IP address, and then when it is going to be expired, it is there. Okay, so important one is this list. First important. Okay, here what happens in the server, we'll see. It is very big screen. This is a server. This is a server, and these are the clients are there in a server, right? So when server is given IP address to the clients, server won't give directly IP address. There is a DORA process is there anyway. Okay, so in the server it will do a notification. Okay, so we'll go to, so in a server it will do notification. For example, this is a PCA, this is a PCB, and this is a server 1 example. So this is a DHCP server. So what it will do, it has an IP address. So for example, 172 dot 168 dot 0 dot 1 not okay 106 106 to the PCA. Okay, so naturally it will note down to whom I given this IP address. Okay, so what happened here, think like this. My scope is 100 pieces. My scope is totally 100 pieces. I have only 50 pieces are there. Total scope is a 100 IP addresses. 100 pieces I've written. Sorry, I have a 100 IP addresses. Okay, my scope, total scope is 100 IP addresses. Okay, so 100 IP addresses. I have a 50 PCs are there. Okay, 50 PCs are there. It means think one by one. Okay, guys, think very easy way. Easy way. Okay, I have a 50 pieces. It means I given 50 IP addresses, right? So 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, like that. I given 50 IP addresses to 50 PCs. Done. What is the remaining IP addresses? Are 50 IP addresses are available. Now I add 25 pieces. I add a 25 pieces. So what happened? No problem. I have a 50 IP addresses are available. Then I will assign 50 IP addresses, 25 IP addresses. Now totally 75 devices, 75 IP addresses are completed. So now what is the remaining? 25 IP addresses. Okay, 25 IP addresses. Now again I added 25 pieces. I given 25 IP addresses, all available IP addresses I given to the systems. So all 25 I given means your 100 IP addresses are completed. 100 IP addresses are completed to 100 computers. Done. Done. So this is done, completed. So in the list, list I have written everything. Okay, this is the IP address and this is the PC. Okay, so this is the PCA, this is IP address for PCB, this is IP address for PCC, PCD, PCE, like that. So I note down each and every PC, their MAC address and IP address in the server. So server it is not is there. If in case if you don't have a lease period, then what will happen here? If in case if you don't have a lease period, then what will happen? So given, completed, given, completed, right? So now what happened? My boss, what he done, he add 10 more pieces. I got a 10 more extra pieces. Then server don't have extra IP addresses, right? Server don't have any extra IP addresses. Server having only 10 IP addresses. I'm not changing that one. Okay, I can change it, but I'm not changing it. Okay, so I have a 10 IP addresses, but I got a new 10 PCs asking for IP address, so can't give. That is okay, no problem. One second, someone came. Okay, so understand it. So I got a new 10 PCs. I won't get any IP address for this piece. So I said to my admin, like, sir, the new 10 PCs don't get an IP address. So because of 100 IP addresses are completed. How do you know all IP addresses are completed? So very simple, you can go to the server. Okay, so either in a scope or IPv4, you can use this one. Right click, display statistics. I right click on scope and I click on statistics, display statistics. See, in use 2 IP addresses, available 42 IP address, total addresses are 44. Why 44? Almost all of 5 plus 1, 6 IP addresses I excluded. I excluded 6 IP addresses. Okay, that's why it is 44 out of 50. Next, you can go to IPv4, right click, display statistics. Okay, where it is? This one, right? So here IPv4, right click, display statistics, you will get this screen. Okay, so here it is, uptime is 2 hours, discovery packets to offer packets to request 62, acknowledges 62, that I will explain. Number of scopes are 1, total IP addresses 44, in use 2, available 42. So this is current information. This is also we can see how many discovery packets, how many offers, how many requests, how many acknowledgement. Think about why only 2 to showing here, why 62 showing here. So that is also important. That is connected to current topic only. Okay, like that. So all IP addresses are completed. So of course we can increase the size of it, but we'll go to that one later. Okay, how to increase the scope size. Okay, range we can able to change it. So we'll see that one later. So what I have done in this scenario, I have a 100 PCs are got 100 IP addresses. Now new PCs are added. These new PCs are not getting any IP now. What I done, I removed 10 PCs from here. 10 PCs from here. Then I got new 10 PCs. I removed old 10 PCs from here. Then what will happen? These PCs again won't get any IP address, because when you remove a PC from these 100 PCs, what happened? Just you removed it. But in the list, in this list, because of no lease duration, no refreshment, what happened? So this, as per the list, I given IP address to a particular person. The person is not there. The computer is not there. Even though I removed that particular computers, like 10 computers are removed, which is old computers, I remove 10 computers. As per my list, I'm already given IP address to them. So IP address list is not free. In the list, these 10 computers, removing the computers, that information is not updated here. So uh, IP addresses are not free. For example, instead of 10, I remove 20 VCs now. Okay, so I removed 20 pieces. For example, already I removed 10 pieces. Now totally 90 pieces are there, and again I removed 20 pieces. Totally 30 pieces removed from the 100 pieces. So now I have a only 70 pieces. I have a 70 pieces. 100 IP addresses are there, right? So how many are available IP address? 30 IP addresses should be available. Okay, 30 IP addresses should be available. I have 100 IP addresses. Now 70 pieces only there. But how many IP address should be available? 30 IP address should be available. But as per this list, all 100 IP addresses are used. Why? Because of my server is not checking. So whether his client is still there or still updating his IP address for next time or not. Okay, so like that. So for example, renew process, right? Maybe people who are in a Hyderabad, people who studied in Hyderabad, okay, student bus pass, right? Every month you have to renew your bus pass. Or maybe people who are in a Pune, like the Pune, like Lonavala, nearby Lonavala and all, train pass is there. Like if you have a train pass, every 1 month you have to renew your monthly pass. You have to pay monthly rent. Important is right. I have to pay the rent, monthly rent. Current bill or a light bill, whatever your electricity bill. So you have to pay every month. Like whenever you got a bill, you have to pay for it. Postpaid, you have to pay the bill. Otherwise, if you don't pay the bill, it won't renew to the next month. So what happened? They will disconnect it. They will disconnect the connection, right? So if you are not renewing your taxes, or you are not renewing your rental, if you are not renewing your rental agreements, you are not renewing um, current bill, so what will happen? Current bill or electricity bill or a bill, whatever the word you use it. Okay, okay, so whatever the bill you paying, so you have to extend the usage, right? You have to extend for next month, next month, next month. If you don't do it, what happen? The service person will disconnect the connection. Same thing, the lease duration also work. For example, I remove 10 pieces. Server still have these 10 pieces in the list. Immediately it is not updating. So server will wait for a certain period of time. So within the period of time, this, if I didn't get a request, I didn't get a request from the these 10 PCs. I didn't get a request from the 10 PCs within the period of time. Within the period of time, I didn't get any request from the these 10 PCs. I will remove the 10 PCs from the list. I remove it. So these 10 PCs no longer available. Within the period of time, they are not renew their addresses. If they are not renew the addresses, no longer required. So remove it. No longer required. Just remove it. Next, in meantime, any of the PC from the 10 PCs or a new PCs are added. So it will give the IP address to them. So these 10 IP addresses become free. For example, this is a 20 pieces are there. Now I freed a 10 pieces. Now these 20 pieces are also removed from the network. So what happened? Server will wait for a that period of time. So when how much time it is given, so it will wait for the period of time. Within the time period, the these 20 pieces not renewed. So what a server will do? It remove these 20 IP addresses. It remove these 20 IP addresses from the list. So earlier 10 IP addresses, now 20 IP addresses also removed from the list. The remaining 70 pieces, those 70 pieces are renewing. So it means I will keep these 70 IP addresses. I will keep these 70 IP addresses in my list. I will keep these 70 IP addresses in my list. Okay. So 30 IP addresses removed. So I got 30 IP addresses free from this list. So any IP, any device is connected into the network, I can able to give IP address to that devices. So this is what will happen. Okay. So again, for understanding, this is the last. Okay. Server maintain a list. So which device got an IP address and what is the IP address and the device name and MAC address of it. MAC address not showing directly, but it will note down the device. It will identify the device based on MAC address only. Okay. So I have 100 IP addresses are there and I have 100 PCs are there. Better I will go to new one. Okay. This is a server and these are a lot of clients. Okay. You can put a whatever the client thing it is. So here it is. Here is a list we have to follow. Okay. So I will use this thing for a list. Okay. So in this list, what happened? This is the server. These are the clients C1, C2, C3, next C4,
Hello, sir.
C5. Yeah, tell me.
Means you told us that the system keeps renewing the IP addresses,
Hmm.
and our lease duration is of 8 minutes. Means
Yes.
after 8 minutes, the IP address gets expired,
Yes.
and it will keeps renewing automatically
Within that 8 minutes
after
only.
8 minutes.
No, no, within that.
Okay,
You have
within
to,
8 minutes.
for example, you have to pay rent. So 1 to 30 days, right? So you have to
Okay,
day on the 30th day or first day, right? Like that. Not days or
yes.
not after that one, right? Actually, before
Okay,
the rent
means
is
in
closed,
between
so you have to
eight
pay.
minutes.
Hmm. Within a 8
Oh,
minutes.
okay.
Just I give an example like this, but within a 8 minutes. I will explain how it is process is also there. Okay, good. You got to understand actually. Okay, you understand. Okay, so I maintaining a list, right? So for example I have a 100 pieces, sorry, 100 IP addresses. As per my range I have 100 IP addresses. Here I have a 100 pieces are there. So I will maintain all the list. I maintain the list. I will maintain the list. So which PC, which IP address with their MAC address also, right? So 100 IP addresses given to 100 PCs directly. Now what happened? Now again I'm trying to explain again. So I removed 10 pieces from it. I removed 10 pieces from it. It means 10 IP addresses must be free, but it is not become free because of we are not maintaining lease durations. So that is automatic process is not there. So 10 pieces are down and 10 pieces are not. We don't know about the 10 pieces information. As per a list, 100 pieces, 100 IP addresses are assigned to 100 pieces only. Like a last IP address is given to C100 for example. So it is always maintaining like that. Okay. If I remove 20 pieces, okay, I removed another 20 pieces. My now totally I have a 70 pieces in my network, but as per this one, as per this one, okay, all 100 IP addresses are busy. This is a not removed from the list. So what this lease duration will do, I given a certain period of time, for example 4 hours. My lease duration is for example 4 hours. So for example 4 hours. Okay, I need a space here. So 4 hours. I will write here 4 hours. Okay, this is easy. So 4 hours. For example, morning 9 o'clock. So morning 10 o'clock. 9 o'clock is actually better. I took 10 o'clock. Morning 10 o'clock. I start my PC. I got some IP address. At 10 o'clock, I got an IP address. My lease duration is 4 hours. My lease duration is 4 hours. Understand 4 hours. Okay. Now my expiry, when it will expiry, 10 plus 4, right? So mostly like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So 10 to 11, 11, 12, 13, 14, right? So it's in a noon, afternoon. This is the expiry. This is the my lease duration. I got IP address at 10 o'clock. It will be expired at 12 o'clock. So what happened in the in a lease duration lease, how it will be renew? So we'll see that one in a 50% of lease duration. What it is? 50% of lease duration, the renew process will start. When renew process will start? 50% of total lease duration. So what is the 50% of total lease duration? 4 o'clock, 4 hours means 2
2
hours,
hours.
right? 2 hours is a 50% of total lease duration. Now, what is it? At 12 o'clock, lease renew process will start. At 12 o'clock, renew process will start. So, what is this renew process? What is DORA?
Sir, getting IP address. DORA process.
DORA process only. DORA means DORA only. Okay, yes, for getting IP address from scratch, right? So client don't have any IP address, then we follow DORA process. So client don't know where is the DHCP server. First he has to discover. Okay, first it has to discover. Second, second, and client don't have any IP address, so server has to offer an IP address, and client has to take the IP address. So client requests the IP address to server, and server send an acknowledgement with a lease duration. What is the lease duration, IP address, and all things will give it to client only. So this is the DORA process, right? Now in this situation, in the renew situation, what happens? Client has IP address already. Client has some IP address, right? Like a maybe 101. Okay, client has a some IP address. Client know where is a DHCP server. Client know where is a DHCP server, right? So client knows the DHCP server, where is the DHCP server, and client know has a IP address. So is it required to do discovery? Not required. Okay, client no need to do discover the server after DORA. After DORA. So why? Because client has an IP address. Second one is client knows where is the DHCP server because it already got IP address from DHCP. Next, already client has an IP address. We don't require offer. No discovery, no offer. But client has to extend this lease duration. Client has to extend the lease duration. Client has to extend the new duration. So what it will do? It send a request. Client send a only request requesting I'm with this IP address extended my lease duration. Client asking server extended my lease duration. So client got a request. Sorry, server got a request. Now server will send a acknowledgement. With acknowledgement, this is the lease duration. Next expiry time is this is the one. So next expiry date, next expiry time is this one. Like client received an acknowledgement from the server with the expiry time means lease duration. Okay, or a change of any change, all changes will occur. So meantime, any change is there, that change also will be applied. Okay, so like that. Understand? So instead of DORA process, only request and acknowledgement only works here in the renew process. Next, at 12 o'clock, so I send a request and I received a acknowledgement. So then my lease is extended to next 4 hours from 12 o'clock. Next 4 hours. Next 4 hours. Right? So now what is the next 4 hours? So we have to write like this is the next 4 hours. Okay, next 4 hours. So now it is a 1600 is your expiry time. 1600 is a expiry time. Now this is the lease period. Now next, what happened? Next what happened? So this is a total lease duration, right? Here to here. Now we have to take 50%. 50% of total lease duration. So 12 o'clock started, renewed, at 12 o'clock and extended to 4 o'clock, means 1600, right? 50% means 2 hours only. So within a 2 hours means 2 hours. This is 2 hours. Again renew process started 1400 and extended to 2 means 1800. It's 14 means 1800 means evening 6 o'clock. Okay. Again for a next 4 hours it will extend. It keep on going. It keep on going like that. So every 2 hours renew process will be start and the renew will continue means again after 4 hours will be extended. Again every 2 hours it keep on renewing it. So this is how renew process is run and what is the lease duration. And the doubt is, for example, exactly at 50%. 50% lease duration means 2 hours, right? So I am unable to renew at, for example, I'm extended like this. Now 4 o'clock, sorry, 14 is extended to 18. Now it is running. This is a currently running. Again next renew process is at this time. This is a 2 hours, right? So renew process it at 4 o'clock. Okay. So I failed to renew at 50% of total time use, means exactly at 4 o'clock, just before 2-3 minutes, maybe 2-3 minutes. DHCP is not available. I can't able to renew my IP address. I can't able to renew my IP address. So if I can't able to renew my IP address, then what happen? So we'll see. This is one more is blocking, right? So guys, I will show you a slideshow. So just try to see the this is we done already. Discover offer request acknowledgement. This is 50% of lease duration time. It's server client send a request packet to server. Server send a acknowledgement. Now extension is happened. If you are failed to renew at 50% of lease duration, next renew process will start at 87.5% of lease duration. Okay. So if in case 100% of lease duration is completed, okay, again DORA process will start. Okay, so for that one only I showed. See here it is. If I fail at 50% of lease duration, and what is the next lease duration? 87.5% of total lease duration. That time again renew process will start. You should be succeeded at least by that time. If you failed at this point also, it means 100% lease duration is completed in the server. In the server, your will be your IP address and your name will be removed. In the list, it will be removed. So that is called a lease duration. So what happened? If you are failed to get, if you are failed to renew within the duration, so what will happen? It remove your list from the in a server. It remove the your name in the list. It remove your name and IP address in the list in the server. Okay, so first lease duration will start at 50%. Next lease duration is started at 87.5%. So only two things: request and acknowledgement will be doing it. If in case 100% time up, 100% time up within the time period you are not renew it. So what client has to do it? Client again start a DORA process, because as per this no IP address. So yeah, this is a not IP address. Okay, got the point. So for every I given 8 minutes only. This is for example I given 4 minutes, but I took a 8 minutes for my server. 8 minutes is a lease duration. It is a very less time. Usually I took 6 minutes. 8 days is a 8 days is for wired network. 8 days is a default lease duration for wired network. 6 days is a default for a wireless networks. It depends upon your router and configuration. Time is there. These are a normal one, but actually 1 day or of 12 hours is better. So either it can take 12 hour 24 hours means 1 day, or 12 hours 6 hours. Why is this better? Or 8 hours. 8 hours is a always better one. Exactly say not 8 hours. So 6 hours, 4 hours also okay, good. No problem. In an organization, how many hours you will work in office? Maximum 8 hours, right? So 8 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours is okay in organization. 10 hours also okay. Not a big deal. Okay. But we have to verify a lot of things. So, okay, so this is a lease period and a lease duration. So what is this lease duration? It is so client and a request for uh, lease extension. Client send a request for a renew. So the to server. Okay, next server send acknowledgement to client. Okay, so when this renew process start, so 50% of total lease duration, 50% of total lease duration. So renew process will start request and acknowledgement. Okay, so before expiry, total lease duration. If you fail, if fails, then next one is 87.5% of so total lease duration. Okay, 50 percent, then 87%. So if in case 100% lease completed, then what happen? You have to do DORA process again. Okay, so that's it. So what happened actually? 100% lease duration completed. Server remove entry in address lease. Okay, and you have to do again DORA process starts from here. Okay, so this is about your lease duration, and I given 8-minute lease duration. So we have to follow the 8-minute rule. to understand. 8 minutes is okay. Can take less also, no problem. But first of all, I'm going to my server to show you that lease duration. Okay, once this IP address free from the list, what will happen? If any client is available, it may give it to them also. It depends upon other factors also there. Okay, so I'm refresh. If you refresh, cancel. No, just if you refresh, or you can refresh on here also. Um, you can see the lease expiry. So you have to check it. What's the time of this one? Actually, 8 minutes means 4 minutes. The lease expiry is showing here is a 46. 46 minus 4, 42. Current time is 40 only. Means at 15:42, at 15:42, 22 seconds. At 15:42, 22 seconds, lease duration will start. Lease duration will start. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to the client. Okay. I am so okay. I have to go to the client very faster. I can disable it. I can disable it, but if I disable, it will ask for the administrator account. Okay. So I disable this one. Just disable only. Okay. Now at this time means expected time, now it is 41 only. Okay, at 42 renew process has to come. I will wait up to 46. Within the 46, 46.44, after this one we'll see. Okay, that is all. Guys, ask one question, right? What is that question? Display statistics. Why it is discover offer 2 packets and request acknowledgement showing 76. Why I'm getting more request and acknowledgement than a discover offers? Lot more. Why? Anybody? I just explained also.
Sir, can you ask it again?
If you see the discover and offer only showing 2, okay, 2, I only it is showing, right? If you see my request and acknowledgement 76 like that. Why?
Because 76 times PC requested for renewal and server send acknowledgement 76 times.
Very good.
And
Because
discover and offer at starting, it happened only for 2 times.
very good. 2 PCs, each one send a one discovery, right? This is a senderic discovery, this is a discovery. Offer completed. But next time there are keep on sending a renew process. Like request for a client send a request. These two are send a request for extending lease duration. Okay, so request is sending and acknowledgement is given by server. So 76 times request, 76 times acknowledgement is given. Yes, very good. If you got request is 100, acknowledgement is 50, then what happened? Server is not performing well. Request is high, acknowledgement is less. So what happened? Server not performing well because I'm getting lot of requests, but I'm not giving acknowledgement to everyone. That's maybe there is some issue. So you have to find out also. If request is very high, sorry, request is low, acknowledgement is high, definitely there is a something definitely wrong is there. Okay, so we have to check it. That's why statistics are important. Disk offer is high and request and acknowledgement is low, then that is a definitely there is a problem. Okay. Okay. So this is, yeah, already it is 1444. So we'll go to the refresh. Can you see this is got updated, not updated. It is showing earlier also 46 only, but it is become 51. 47 is there earlier. Now it is become 51. The renew process is done by this PC, but renew process is not done by this PC, not yet. Why? Because of I disabled my client VC. I disabled my client VC. Okay. So like this, I disabled my adapter in my client VC. I just disabled it. That's it. Just I'm waiting 46. So like this. Okay. There are a lot of troubleshooting things, wantedly asking questions also there. Like if you go to this one, there is a defined user class and vendor class is there. Okay. So usually this is called a user class. What we are giving, this one is a user class. These are all user class only. Okay. So this is are all called a user class only. Like if you want, you can go define user class. So user class, if you go to user class, default routing, remote access, boot p classes, these are like you can add it, like add. So display name, description, something is there. So this is user class. Vendor class is easy, at least. Vendor class based on which vendor you want to add it. Okay, server related options and all, and also you can create a new thing also. Okay, and till date. So there is a no, nothing. So you actually user class means normal IP address deployment to everyone. Vendor class. So you can go to this one. Vendor class is like defining to a particular machine type for servers, Windows servers, for Linux, for a particular like machine types. Okay, so I'm going to IPv4 right click properties. Okay, automatic update statistics, DHCP audit login. So to how many people you give an IP address, issues in that one, you will get it. Boot P is a different, not different concept. I will tell boot P also. DNS filters, failovers. You can add a failover if DHCP server failure. So no problem. You can other DHCP will give you IP address like a secondary DHCP server type. Okay, we can create it. This is the location of backup location and settings, and sorry, backup locations will be there inside this one. Lot of options are there, so you can right click on IPv4. You get lot of options. Go through all the options once again. Configure, failure, replicate, multi-scope, super scope is there. Super scope means combination of multiple scopes into single scope only. That is called a super scope, like that. Okay. This is unauthorized means it is authorized DHCP server. If it is showing authorized means it is unauthorized DHCP server. You can backup, restore all the scope and all kind of stuff. So if you got a problem with the DHCP server, here you can go to restart. You can restart the services. So then it may work again. Okay. This is the path for a database location of DHCP, and this is the path for backup the database. Okay, time's up or not? Yeah, 49 address list. See here it is still showing like this. Just refresh. Where it is that one? My WinC1. It is removed from the client. It is removed from the client, and this got updated, but it is removed from the client. That's it. So to show that lease duration, so once 100% lease duration completed, within that 100%, you're not renewed. Normally 50% of total renew one, it is renew process will start. Okay, our next renew process started 87.5 of total lease duration. Okay, next right click enable, so I'm enabling this one. Again it will ask for a password and any admin you can give. I started using this one instead of typing administrator. This has become more easy. Now it is again DORA process run and he got an IP address, but it got same IP address only because that is available. And now the obtained is a 50 and next 58, this is going to be expiry. And so once it is done, again in server, go to refresh, you will get the IP address again. Okay, so like this. This is about your lease duration. One more is there, that is called reservation. So okay, I will stop here. Then reservation we will continue after this.